So, I finally read Märchen Crown, which is Aka Akasaka's newest manga after Oshi No Ko. I tried to go into it without many expectations, and read the first 4 chapters. Well, the only thing I was expecting would be that there would be some sort of twist at the start to hook us. Sorta like he did with Oshi No Ko, with Goro getting killed and then respawning as Ai's child. Then he did another big twist like 10 chapters later with Ai's death. I know at this moment, the manga doesn't even have 10 chapters yet, but there was still definitely a twist at the start. The story actually begins with the narrator yapping about princes and princesses, with fairy tales that end happily ever after. This story may also be like that, and is a tale of a boy and a girl led by a mysterious fate. This is their own fairy tale, their Märchen. A Märchen is basically another word for fairy tale in German, by the way. Essentially, the premise seems to be that this is a romance story set in a fantasy world, or perhaps in the past, of the Oshi No Ko and Kaguya world, since Aka likes to keep his stories in the same timeline. This is a fairy tale though, and it even opens by saying how once upon a time, in a forest far away, there was a tall tower. In the highest room, there lived a beautiful girl with very long hair. She had never gone outside the tower before because of a promise she made with the witch who owned the place. The witch warned her that the outside world is filled with wicked people and terrible, frightening things, so she must never dream of leaving the tower. The girl's name is also Rapunzel, like the princess from the Tangled movie, pretty much confirming this is taking heavy inspiration from the fairy tale too. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but from what I know from the actual fairy tale is that a guy comes to the tower, they fall in love, and he helps her escape from the witch. Although he falls in some thorns, causing him to go blind briefly too. The guy in this manga isn't some prince or knight though. He's seemingly just an ordinary boy, good at climbing from some village, out in search for the tower. One day, he manages to make it up to the tower, and they end up meeting. He calls her Rosa first for some reason, and his appearance scares Rapunzel. Apparently, he was looking for some type of flower, called Rosa multiflora. There's many flowers blooming outside, but Rapunzel doesn't know since she's never been outside. According to the witch, it's scary and dangerous outside, so she must never leave. Hearing that, the guy admits the witch is telling the truth somewhat, but it's not completely right. He leaves to get something before the witch returns. Rapunzel lies and just says there's a bee in her room, before returning once the witch leaves. The guy seemed to have returned too, and left a flower for her. She finds the flower to be so pretty, and that's what the guy meant by calling her a Rosa. Lovely and fair just like the flower. Rapunzel begins crushing on bro, and he leaves while promising to bring her more stuff. His name is Mikkel, by the way, son of a blacksmith. After that, Rapunzel and Mikkel become good friends, with Mikkel returning every so often and sharing stories of the outside world. Stories that sounded like fairy tales to her. Over time, Rapunzel began to believe she understood love for the first time, and eventually stepped outside with Mikkel for the first time as well. They didn't go far, but Rapunzel was amazed by the beauty of the outside world, and wished they could live in these happy days forever. However, the real story only began a few months after their first meeting. Rapunzel has gotten more used to the outside, and wanted to visit Mikkel's village now, after hearing all the stories he told her about it. The witch leaves for 2 or 3 days each month, and today is that first day, giving Rapunzel the opening to go. They will have to head there through the treetops though. However, when they get to his village, Rapunzel is completely shocked at first and tries to get away. That's because when Mikkel introduces her to his uncle, it's a giant demonic zombie plant looking creature. It has human body parts too, and grabs Rapunzel with its bloodied hand and screeches before Mikkel knocks it back. He tells Rapunzel to walk it too, but she does the sensible thing and runs for her life. However, like Mikkel says, this is what the outside world truly is, and he tells the rest of those things that Rapunzel is on their side. Meanwhile, we see a battalion of knights have just burned a group of those thorny creatures down, and are hunting more of them too. It's also explained why they traveled through the treetops. It's because the land surrounding their tower is covered by a thicket of thorns, similar to the fairy tale with the thorns surrounding the tower and blinded the prince. Mikkel returns to his village, but finds that they were all killed. His auntie is still alive, but then gets her head sliced off by a knight. However, in Mikkel's eyes, she looks completely human. When he tells the knight that the creature was just a normal person, the knight shows Mikkel his aunt's head, and he breaks down, causing the knight to get suspicious and kill him too. Like he literally slashes Mikkel in half, and then shoots his top half. The group of knights heard Rapunzel scream from earlier, and goes to look for her, while a voice talks to Mikkel's dying body. It gets Mikkel to offer up his soul and cursed bones to the Princess of Flora, and become a true companion. His body then begins to put itself back together with the thorns. Meanwhile, the knights meet with their lord to give their report about the missing girl, and the head knight is named Cruz, who gives the lord confidence that they can keep searching for the girl they heard. They eventually find her, and the Lord reveals himself as Glame von Einbach, the first prince of the Einbach royal family. The knights look away as the prince says he'll protect her, but first he tells Rapunzel to strip naked because she will be belonging to him from now on. He gets on top of Rapunzel and she screams Mikkel's name. However, the prince says they already killed him. Then he slaps Rapunzel, getting her to get quiet before unfastening his belt. Before he can go further, a sword flies right through the head of one of his guards. Another knight gets taken down too by the swords before Mikkel makes his presence known. However, Bro looks like a complete monster, and he tells Rapunzel to go back with him, causing her to scream no. His body is split in half, only holding itself together with thorns, yet he crawled all this way for Rapunzel. However, she's so traumatized now that she starts laughing, refusing to believe that's Mikkel. Cruz is then ordered to dispose of the monster, but Mikkel is able to hold his own now, and can keep up with the sword. Cruz explains that Mikkel surrendered himself to an inhumane power, twisting and distorting his own body. Even when Cruz slices off Mikkel's head this time, it still isn't enough, as the thorns reattach to it. With Cruz caught off guard, Mikkel then slices off his arm. This leads to Cruz suspecting that the thing causing Mikkel's body to have these abilities is Rapunzel. He orders the guards to kill her first, believing she could be the source of the curse. Of course, Mikkel protects her, but with just his head alone. He uses his mouth to grab a sword and kill most of the remaining knights before fleeing with Rapunzel. Although she feared him in this moment, amidst the confusion, she continued to hold him and did not let go. That's pretty much where chapter 4 ends, and where the story is so far. Overall, the premise is definitely interesting, as it makes you question what's up with those plant-like creatures. From what it seems like, most of them are actually humans, who got corrupted by the Princess of Flora. The Flora powers probably surround the tower of the land itself through the thorns. Obviously, the witch probably knows everything, and I could see Rapunzel also being the Princess of Flora, which is why she's locked up in the tower. Plus, there will probably be other princesses too, going off the cover art at the start of the manga, and the fact the story seems to be taking inspiration from the fairy tales. So far, I guess I got a Promised Neverland vibe from the story, with the demons and the truth about the outside world not being so pretty. But we do know that there's some safe spaces, like the royal capital, where the prince is from. The setting is also kinda similar to Hell's Paradise, with the plant stuff too. It's definitely different from Oshi No Ko, and Kaguya at least, but still has a romance aspect to it. Well, it is Aka writing it after all. I'm probably most interested in the mystery aspect of it though, but hopefully the rest of the story will be written well too. I'm not sure if I'll continue to cover this, but it is pretty much the successor to Oshi No Ko, which is why I wanted to try it out at least once. But yeah, let me know what y'all think of the story so far in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. Peace.